it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.
I've known 3 people who passed away from fentanyl. After that happened, and after learning more about fentanyl, where it's coming from, how it's getting into the country, I realized, I needed to do something. So on LinkedIn, I started I figured somebody on LinkedIn was talking about this somewhere, and they were. That's how I found Fentanyl Fathers and other activist parents who've lost their children who are doing the same thing, very brave souls doing this good work. So I started calling them to see if they could come to my school district.
So members of our district leadership got together. I think we had a conference call talking about different ways that we can educate our student body about the dangers of fentanyl use. And so Fentanyl Fathers were brought up and part of that call as a possibility to bring out to our district and talk to our kids.
I know we have a teacher here, Mr. Johnston, that invited them. I know it's not a state requirement in Texas to have fentanyl awareness, but we had a teacher here that did a great job inviting them, and they came on their own volition.
I contacted the board of trustees for our school district, and we talked to our operations people, set up meetings, and eventually made it happen.
Very easy. They were very kind to come here on their own time. I know our presenter flew in from Michigan, and it just did it out of his own free will. And they were very graceful with us using our equipment in our areas and our time whenever we had. And they've been a joy to work with.
Oh, very easy. We pretty much told them when we had availability. They were very flexible. They came out. They tailored the presentations sizes and styles to what worked with our school schedule.
Fentanyl Fathers is a national group. We're in 9 states right now. We just had a phone call this morning on the way over here to open up Alabama. It'll be our 10th. And then Maine, it was Maine or Massachusetts, would be our 11th. In America, there are 25,077 high schools. So we're in a big rush to get around. How many bereaved parents since 2019 have there been created in America? The answer is 750,000. There's been 375,000 kids dying of this since 2019. And nobody wakes up thinking, I want to go near fentanyl. Of course not. But you get tricked into it.
I think we're doing what we're in the business of doing, which is educating kids. This happens to be a really specific topic that they need more knowledge on and more information to hopefully prevent horrible things from happening.
So today I'm sharing the story about my son's tragic death from fentanyl poisoning with some middle schoolers here in Texas. And I am thrilled to have the opportunity to do this. I honestly am surprised I can speak through it and get through it. So I'm just really honored to have the opportunity. And the kids are like sponges. This is what they'll remember. This is what will sink in. This is the time that we need to get them to understand what's going on here.
A lot of the stories, the videos, and then just the presentation from the parent, is firsthand. It comes from them, and it's emotional, very emotional. It's sad to see. You're sad that they're having to give this information out in this way, but thankful for it as well.
By talking to you all, making sure that this never happens to you or your parents or your family, gives purpose to my son, Drew. His name was Drew.
Actually went really well. The kids were very well behaved. They asked a lot of questions. They had good, good insight. They participated well, and I think they genuinely learned something from the presentations.
I heard the ones that have been done so far at other schools have been fantastic. I just heard about some reactions some kids just had. Great feedback. I think it resonated with them. Mission accomplished so far.
Kids are coming up to me and actually looking me in the eye and saying thank you. And it's almost like a few kids have said that they want to go home straight to their parents right now and talk to them. And so what I'm hoping is that they'll have the ability to open up this conversation with their parents, and a trusted other, and that we have somebody in the schools who's receptive to helping them when they need to talk about stuff.
We've talked to a few kids today. I think there's a lot of shock, a lot of things that they didn't know. And we're hoping that translates into them making more informed decisions, as they go through. To be honest, in Georgetown, we love our kids. At Wagner Middle School, we care about the kids. We want what's best for them. They all have really bright futures. And we just want them to have all the information to make the best decisions possible.
The kids are responding. They're taking in the information, and I think it's a good thing. They need to hear it. It's a big problem rising, and the earlier we can tell them, the better.
I think the goal here is to really raise awareness, and that's the key. And any sort of epidemic, when you talk about COVID or fentanyl, raising awareness and understanding is the key to ultimately beating this thing. And I think they're doing a great job working in partnership with other organizations as well. And Fentanyl Fathers is a great example of how you do that.
Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast here. Fentanyl facts and stories. And we just, I'm trying to bring all this information out. It's very, very, very important that we do this because let's just face it, if you're not being a strong advocate of things like fentanyl and all the dangerous things that are going on, you can't rely on officials to do it for you. You just can't. And it shows it in the story. They had to basically, a teacher was being a good-minded person and just got it out to the school. I love Texas pictures, documentaries. I check them out all the time on YouTube, and it's just a great YouTube channel, and they have some great stories. So this is just something that I like doing, finding my facts based on that YouTube channel. I want to bring stories to the podcast. So what I do is those are real account stories, and so why not have a real account story here? Real people. They're not actors. They're definitely just trying to be get that story out, and that's what this podcast is named, Facts and Stories. And so we basically want to try to make sure that that I'm getting the message out there. All right, let's see. All right, my co-host is a little tied up. She has a meeting, so I'm just gonna go ahead and continue with the programming. Thanks for joining me. I got someone telling me good evening. Good evening to you also, Facebook user. Let's see. And you are either part of the problem or part of the solution. Exactly. So true. Every day I'm seeing something, whether it's someone telling a tragic story about fentanyl or opioids and the overdoses, and it's just so it's sad to listen to. Hey, Katrina, how you doing? Hey, we are going to definitely set up. I want to get you back on the podcast. And, the one thing that we got to do is get you back on, push your book again, just have a good conversation. You were a great guest. And I just, like I always told you, you can come on anytime, just let me know. The one thing about podcasting is, we could talk in the morning and say, let's do something later on, so that's what I'm offering you, Katrina. Let's do this. Any day of the week, I can pretty much do it just by sending you a link. And I like doing podcasting every day, so if it's something you want to do right away, then we'll set it up within the next week or so, or we'll wait until March and you can pick one of the Tuesdays in March, and then we'll definitely get it on the air on the radio station. But I'm always available. StreamYard is really good to me. I can produce a podcast real quick, and I love it. All right, let's see. So I have some news here about fentanyl and some things that are going on. Sent to me by Paula. I'm gonna try to read the story as best I can. This is based out of the. Let me get the article here. It's newsrepublic.com. Newsrepublic.com. It says how the media falls for the rights. Fentanyl lies. The migrants being demonized for the drugs coming over the border aren't responsible for the crisis. But you never know that from the news. And it's so true. The news will put something out there. And, and from what I understand, there's like 3 companies, 3 networks that control everything that's put out there. And and they kind of collaborate, and they can push their own agenda. They can push their own agenda. And so if they're pushing the migrants are doing it, they're pushing it in there. Guess what? America has its part in this, right? America is when we talk about the United States, the one thing that moves things forward is money. Very capitalist country, and they're going to do it any way possible. As we talked about Big Pharma on this podcast and what they're doing. They're very rich people pushing it. And very rich people under them working the system and doing all those things. So, hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing? Yes, man. Mike Samail, my man. This is hey, by the way, Michael, you better finish up that book, man. I'm waiting for a book, man. Acushnet, Massachusetts, best basketball players that ever came out of that town, along with the town of Fairhaven where he played. So, and he's a great mind. He has great intellect, and definitely is getting his book ready, his memoir, which I cannot wait to see and hear. I know I got bits and pieces over the past year and a half, 2 years. So I am very, very proud of my friend and what he's doing. All right, let's go back to this article here. So the push is about, migrants and being the reason why the drugs are being pushed over the border into our communities and affecting us. And that's not true. There's some of it, it's got partial truth to it, but it's not 100%, the fault of the migrants. Let's start with the truth. It says the migrants who arrive at our southern border do not smuggle fentanyl fentanyl in the United States. The evidence is clear and on this point, in large parts thanks to reports straight from the U.S. Border Patrol, which we had. We had Jen Butt on there, and she wrote the book Against the Wall, and she was a Border Patrol, and she told us a lot of things a couple of weeks ago, right? But Fox News, it says Fox News, Donald Trump and the rest of the GOP misinformation complex have designed our recent news cycles with a daily barrage of innuendos. I can never pronounce that, and lies. A distortion field that the mainstream media has only occasionally and feebly challenged the inability of the fourth estate, the capability to penetrate the frustratingly obvious dishonesty of these fentanyl fearmongers is a massive and comprehensive example of media malpractice. More decisive proof that the traditional reporting techniques are simply leaving American public in the dark as the 2024 election campaign season shudders forward. All right. It's a great article, but look at it. It's newsrepublic.com. There's a nice article in there, and the title of it is How the Media Falls for the Rights. Fentanyl Lies. It's a political website, but I just wanted to get that out there, and I will post it later on Facebook. And so if you want to read it, right from your laptop, I'll post it at some point this evening. All right, so the dangers are crazy. There is so many things going on. It's almost like that taboo thing right now, right? It's not something people want to talk about it, and it's a shame. Paul has always mentioned about 300 deaths a day, and it's and as we're not educating, everyone, as we are not being educated in it. Someone gets victimized, and it doesn't matter. I played a story last week, Dr. Catherine, and her education, PhD, and everything that she's accomplished in her life, and then she got caught up, and she ended up dying, and overdosing. So, and then there's the other part of it, which is the reason why this podcast is in play is. Andrew, Paula's son, poisoned by fentanyl. We have recreational use for many things, and there are some drugs that are used for recreational, and they're being laced. Even the pills are looking like all different colors and not resembling, but multicolors like Skittles, and M&Ms, and the pills are they're counterfeit pills, and they get pushed. These machines can produce about, I think it's 70,000 pills an hour. You can imagine that on the streets. So, but we feel free. You want to add a comment in a section, something you want to talk about when it comes to fentanyl, opioids. And I'm always welcome every week to have someone on. You want to tell a story. There's many stories that I hear throughout the week with some of my friends that are going through some crisis, trying to be a strong advocate for their friends and family that are going through some things, and feel free if you want to talk about, those issues. Come on if you're comfortable with it. On the video earlier, and there was a gentleman seeking. He wanted some support with other fathers, and so he can so he can have that support system. And one of the board members here for Achieve Greatness 88.org, Phil Young, Phil Young is definitely he's going to be on the podcast next week on the Really Charlie podcast. And we're going to get him on again so he can give that firsthand account, that honest and genuine and organic account of what he's going through as a father and losing his son. So he will be on Tuesday on WNB1 radio. And we're going to talk about it. He was on a couple of weeks ago. We talked, and but there was interest. There was a strong interest to hear from him. So we are going to have him on again, and can't wait. Should be no technical problems anymore. We're definitely going to get him on and let him chew up the airways with his stories and be that strong, advocate. And he's ready. He's ready to start a men's group. He's ready to help out many others, whether it's through social media, whether it's through, meeting up with each other in the area. But he's ready. He's ready, and a very, very good man. And can't wait to next Tuesday so we can hear his story on WNB1 radio. As you see, that's the logo up there right above my head, WNB1 radio. You can add the radio station to your devices, whether it's Apple or Android, or you can go to WNB1.com and check out all the different shows, the podcast. We have my show, the Really Charlie podcast. We just added something yesterday with poetry conversations with the funky professor, Waleem. He comes on and we talk about a few things. We have on Sunday evenings, Frequency Live with Berto and Joe and Derek and Jasmine, doing their thing. They always have great subjects to talk about. And it's nice when you have 3 to 4 people going at it and talking about different things. And then they debate, and then the comments come in. It's real great. Along with that, we have luxury tax. Luxury tax is building, and their programming is going to start hitting us. They're already doing different things. They're getting ready to kind of go and hit us on the airwaves, and they're going to pretty much be this, that other podcast, that other show for WNB1 radio. We have Straight to the Point. It's my favorite sports talk show. I love listening to those guys. Wish I can listen to them a little bit more, but we all work and we all do our thing. So once a week, Thursday at 6:00, they are on Facebook Live and on the radio station, talking about many things. So this week, without even mentioning it, they're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Probably talk about this trade deadline that ends tomorrow at 3:00 with the NBA. And there's a few other things, that they're going to talk about. So can't wait. Let's see. And always we have music at WNB1 radio. We have hip hop music, R&B music that I try to play every now and then. We have Ed Blends, who comes on Saturdays, Saturday evenings, and he's in Oklahoma, and so he's playing music from out there, and it's amazing things. So, and I talked to Katrina about coming on the show. I also want to mention to Michael, we need to get you back on the show too, but we probably should wait until your book is done so we can hit the airwaves with that book, that fabulous book, and can't wait. And hopefully this month you get some news about what we did about a year ago. So 6 months maybe. So all right. Well, this is what I'm trying to do with the fentanyl stories. Someone's texting me. Hey. I want to have some more people in the area to come on, especially a lot of the drug agencies in the area. And I want you to come on. So if you know anyone out there that's a drug advocate, a peer counselor, a support friend or family, you know, and they want to come on and kind of share their story, you know, let us know. And if they're a little shy, camera shy, we have a number. I have a Google number that we can have somebody come on and talk, you know, and just tell their story. So, all right, everyone, I am definitely gonna wait. I got one more thing I want to talk about. Let's see. Please join the group on we have a nice group here on Facebook, you know, the Fentanyl Facts and Stories Facebook group. You know, join it, you know, come on. You know, some people there are sharing some different things and passing it on. So, all right. Well, our graphic design that's in the background, that's designed by, that will be designed by Outlaw City Graphics. He does all the different things. He's done my logos for the Really Charlie podcast. He's done this one. Just recently, the Poetic Conversations, he did that one. So, you know, if you're looking for a logo to kind of build your brand, build your show, if you have a podcast out there, you know, check him out. He's on Facebook, and just put in the Outlaw City Graphics, and his page will pop up. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Please, you know, get in touch with me if you want to be on the podcast. That's Really Charlie Podcasts at gmail.com. Send me an email or a message here on Facebook, and we'll make it happen. Katrina, have a great night. Michael, have a great night. And everybody else that is viewing us on Facebook Live, on our YouTube channel, Really Charlie, please continue on, and I appreciate you. Frank Slaughter, my man. Yes, the man, the what, we can't call him the mayor of Vegas. What we're going to call him, an ambassador of Las Vegas. His city is steaming. It's hot. It's lit. You got people all over the place, but Vegas is always like that. But the Super Bowl is going to Vegas. And it's so amazing that, the Vegas has always had many things. But, you know, they have the in-season tournament there for the NBA. Now they have the Super Bowl. It's definitely a great city to, I never have a bad Las Vegas trip, you know, never. I always have a good time there. Haven't been there in a while. But Frank Slaughter, how you doing? Champ, you know, keep in touch, and we'll definitely talk soon. There's a few things I'd like to talk to you about, with the New Bedford Historic Society. So we'll be talking soon. And I'm going to be getting sworn in. I'll be part of the New Bedford Historic Society soon. Can't wait for the annual meeting so I can get officially baptized into the program. Cannot wait. So I can get some of the history out there about New Bedford, which I very dearly, and it's something that means so much to me. So I'm going to have fun doing it. Cannot wait. All right, y'all. I appreciate you. Please join me every Wednesday with Paula Young and myself with Fentanyl Facts and Stories. And we will definitely be here next Wednesday, 7:30. The show usually goes about 30 minutes to an hour. And if you have anything or that you want to bring to the show, just let me know. All right, everyone. I am going to end this podcast with my favorite song by Lionel Peter Walker. And this is, this is definitely my favorite song. When I hear this, I wish it was my ringtone, but I got to figure that out, All right, y'all. I will see you next week. God bless. Take care and be blessed. All right.
it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.